This wretched world, this age old game of elements, shattering the ambitions of the dwellers of the great divine throne. Iblees, the devil, continues. That very creator is today bent upon ruining it, who once had named it the world of K and N. According to the Quran, existence in its entirety came into being in response to one brief command of God. He said kun, meaning be. In Arabic, this word kun consists of two letters kaf and nun, and in response, the universe came into being. See the Quran. The originator of the heavens and the earth, when he decrees a thing, he says unto it only be, and it is. Chapter 2, verse 117. I inspired in the European the dream of imperialism. I broke the spell of the mosque, the temple, and the church. Referring to secularism, the instrument used to separate the state from the church or religion and thereby to deprive the state of all moral and spiritual values. I taught the lesson of destiny to the destitute. I gave the rich the passion of capitalism. Who can ever cool down the fire blazing in him, in whose frenzied uproar is hidden the firestorm of Iblees? Who can ever bend down that age old tree whose branches have grown so high because we have watered it? Pehla Mushir, the first advisor. No doubt, the system of Iblis is quite stable. It has hardened masses in their servitude. Iblis has been successful in instilling a deep sense of pessimism in the minds of the masses, so much so that, betraying their own interests, they have given up resistance against the oppression by the wicked powers and have accepted slavery as their destiny. Mere prostration has been the fate of these poor masses since the beginning of time. Their nature is such that standing up is not a part of their namaz. In fact, the act of namaz salah that every Muslim is obliged to perform 5 times a day involves various postures, including standing, bowing down, falling in prostration, and sitting on the ground. All these acts symbolize his readiness to obey the divine command under all circumstances. However, according to Iblis, Muslims have accepted prostration as their only fate and have lost the ability to stand up. Any desire for freedom cannot emerge in them anywhere. In the first place, perchance if it does, either it dies down or remains hollow. Obviously, desire for freedom is the first step to attain freedom. When a nation or community has lost the ability to desire freedom, how can it be expected even to fight for it? This is the marvel of our persistent efforts today. This is the marvel of our persistent efforts that today Sufis and mullahs alike are the slaves of the monarchs. Traditionally, Sufi mystics and scholars of Islam have been the prime sources of guidance and inspiration for the Muslim community. The first advisor in the Council of Iblis says that this community has lost both these sources. Those who were supposed to lead the movement for justice and equality have chained themselves to the slavery of the ruling masters. Hence, there is no possibility of any revolt or rebellion by this community. This was the opium quite apt for the temperament of the East, or else ilmic kalam scholastics is in fact not any less futile than the Qawwali. Qawwali is a form of devotional music popular in the subcontinent. The advisor says that the Muslim community has fortunately engaged itself debating trivial theological issues. They are not aware that these debates are as futile as Qawwali. So, what if the clamour of the rituals such as Tawaf and Hajj do remain, because the unsheathed sword of the believer has lost its edge? According to this advisor of the Iblees, the Muslim community, despite all the plots of Iblees, has not abandoned its religion. However, he draws solace in the fact that Muslims have retained mere rituals and have lost the revolutionary spirit of their faith. Although they do practice some formal acts of worship, they no longer are aware or their universal duty to fight for justice and equality and to resist all forms of injustice and exploitation. Struggle is prohibited on the Muslim men of this era, whose gloom does this modern day proclamation manifest. During the peak of colonial rule, at the behest of the ruling masters, many Muslim scholars in several colonized countries had begun to issue fatwas proclaiming that struggle is prohibited for Muslims of the modern era. The advisor says these proclamations clearly indicate that the community stands utterly frustrated, and such a community can never pose any threat to the evil regime of Iblis.